way. Batavia down is more, lots more.
I know that Seth Rollins wants to be the only one doing any winning around here, but that cannot stop you from the fact that Batavia Downs is the spot to win more, lots more. And they are also the sponsor of the show, where it's not wrestling with your conscience. It's not wrestling with your budget. It is wrestling with emotion. So let's get our crew in here. It has been a minute. Let's strap in. We got Slick Saturday. We got the Prophet, Rob, Ryan. We got Ali making a rare appearance on the WWE show. And of course, we got the head of the table, Michael J. Partham. Gentlemen, oh my God, I just went out of screen. How are we doing? How are we feeling? It is undeniably Royal Rumble season.
Well, I'm going to say this. Rare appearance is crazy. I just don't like AEW.
That's
Well,
very
yeah,
fair.
Well, I'm feeling.
well, then it is rare because, that's what we talk about over here. So
half the time, maybe.
I'm feeling great because the Prophet is back, and we all know everyone loves the Prophet. But, I'm already mad because, Maniac, I know we haven't been on the show in a while, but,
No way. I don't think so, pal. That's not how this works.
I'm the one that uses the videos around here. So hold your wagon, pressing that button for a little bit.
That's very fair. I'll hold my wagon going forward. Michael J., have you been holding your wagon over there?
I'm doing all right. I mean, wrestling seems to be pretty exciting in some areas and confusing in others. So I guess business as usual, right?
Business as usual. Slick, how you feeling about business so far, 29 days into 2025?
business is booming.
I like it. Let's get right into it. Obviously, AEW was in a tough spot, coming into, I don't know if you want to call it recent months. I don't know if you want to call it 2024, but it has been a tough 18 months when you compare, with the high times of 2019, 2021, of course. With that said, AEW does seem to have some momentum in the returns of Kenny Omega. And now last week, we got back Timeless Tony Storm, one of the top characters, in my opinion. I know I'm a little bit biased. With that said, do you think that Omega and Timeless returning is going to spell a positive trend for AEW? Partham, why don't you start us off here? How are you feeling on the All Elite business?
Oh, sure. I mean, Mariah May, let's be perfectly honest, hasn't really done anything with her title reign since she won it from Timeless Tony Storm. And ever since Tony Storm returned as Rocker Tony Storm, the anticipation has been building to Grand Slam and how they were going to get there. And the first confrontation that Tony and Mariah have was highly anticipated. And how is this going to work out with rookie Tony Storm, meeting Mariah May? And Mariah wasn't really buying any of it. But the one little nitpick I have, and it's one that I have with the Timeless Tony Storm and the Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay segment, which also was pretty well done in and of itself. A good back and forth promo, a good concession stand brawl in the grand tradition of independent Southern wrestling from way back in the day. But it seems like there was a lot of television to be had from both of those segments that could have lasted all the way up until Grand Slam. And it seems like they just rushed to get to the finish line in both cases in just one segment. We got the reveal. It was a great reveal of Tony Storm, and whether or not we want to argue it was against heavy competition, it was against Saturday night's main event, and was it worth putting it on Collision? Should have been on Dynamite. The fact is, I think they rushed it a little bit too much, and they also rushed getting to a resolution between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. A coming to terms, a cessation of hostility, so to speak, so they can both go after the Don Callis family. I think they could have gotten to that in at least 2 or 3 weeks and drawn out the cinema of it, the drama, if you will. But regardless, having Kenny back, having Tony as Timeless back is going to, I believe, pique a few interests that. With all this Death Rider stuff, and I don't think Jeff Jarrett is really hitting as far as his retirement tour and his chasing of the AEW World Title. And MJF seems to be treading water at this point, even though as great a talent he is on the mic and in the ring. I think both of them coming back as either Kenny coming back fully or Tony coming back as their persona, I think it's going to pick up a little bit of momentum for AEW. It's just a question of they've always had these little moments of excitement and intrigue, and it's just following up on it long term that's really been the problem.
All right, and now we got to follow up that great monologue from Partham. We're going to put Ali on the spot. Ali,
Oh, here we go.
how many Death Riders can Ali name?
Not one.
Okay. Well, there he goes. He gets taken off the screen. I mean, listen, I can't have you criticizing AEW if you can't name one Death Rider, boys. Is that fair?
It is fair. As much as they might be disliked, they are forced down your throat. So if you can't name one, that says a lot, and probably shouldn't be qualification.
Hold on a second, because I'm a TikTok fan. All right, so okay, let me impress you, Marks out over here.
You just
okay?
pulled TikTok up, didn't you?
What?
No, I saw him.
But okay, right. So Timeless Tony Storm, right? I've been kind of keeping up with this on the TikTok. All right, so she's like acting like she was never that character before, and then she like was now is that character again.
Shut up while I'm conducting business.
Yeah.
You started talking about AEW. You still have not named one Death Rider, and one
I said
Death
Jeff
Rider
Jarrett.
is
Jeff
literally
Jarrett.
one of the
Jeff
bigger
Jarrett.
names in
Oh,
WWE
no.
history.
Get out of here!
No.
Delete.
Absolutely delete.
Can we, or intern? Can we get the delete clip added in here at some point?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ali,
I
go,
I will
go
endeavor
grab
that.
a Prime. Ali, go
I-
grab a Prime and get ready for the WWE segment, buddy. All right, but because you're not winning lots more with this one. But let's put a button on it, because we know it's Royal Rumble season. We know people want to talk about that. We want to talk about WWE very hot. With that said, Slick, what would you do if you were Tony Khan? You're in charge. You know, you're not going to be able to rebook Dynamite tonight, but what would you book going forward? What would be the angles you would work? What would you do to put fans in the seats and fans watching on the tube?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd get the Death Riders the hell off the TV. Have Moxley lose to Omega at some point. I think AEW was at its best when Kenny Omega held the world title. I do think, though, I will rebuttal Partham that I think it was a good call on Tony Khan's part, pairing them up now to try and get attendance a bit higher for that Australia show. Try and advertise that a bit more. When you put those two in a tag team, people are going to tune in. So I'll back that decision up. And I will rebuttal Partham as well on Mariah May's title reign. I think it has been stale. I'll give you that, but I do like the stuff she did with Mina. And I love what Tony Storm does with Mariah May. So I'm not even mad we're seeing that installment again. But yes, if I was Tony Khan, I would keep the emphasis. I like the title change. I think Private Party did get a little bit at short end of the stick with that title reign. But I do like him putting the tag titles immediately on the Hurt Business, make them feel important and make them feel like a dominant faction in AEW. I love what you're trying to do, establishing I think they called them the Hellhounds now, with its Buddy Matthews and Brody King, now that Malachi's basically just on the way fucking out. And we'll get into that because I don't know anything about his contract. Partham, you might know more than I do, but imagine if we saw him on Saturday in a Rumble position. So
I've heard not to expect that it's going to take a while for his contract to run out. One quick little hot take. As far as the Hurt Business goes, I think they're the only ones that look like stars in that show right now. Or at least are presented as stars.
You fucking mark!
It's called the Hurt Syndicate.
Hurt Business, Hurt Syndicate. It doesn't matter what they're called.
All right.
they hurt people, Rob. That's the bottom line.
With that said, does anybody think that does anyone think AEW isn't picking it up a little bit recently, even if they are pulling the trigger a little bit early on things?
I think yes, but it's also, let's see what they do after, because now they just use their big weapons already. So
I think yes, and they have some buffer room with the Australia show. I think that the success of just that show alone doesn't determine things for them long term. And they have, other than that show, they have a pretty long time from now on to build until Revolution. So I think if you can do a good job building between now and March 9th, I believe it is, make Revolution a big show, you could start to restore that feeling a little bit.
One point I just thought about it is that I understand this is when you have to pick it up, because obviously this is when WWE picks it up. But I think Tony Khan has to somehow figure it out how to pick it up when it's in the W offseason, because that's when viewership's going to go up. Even if the AEW's hot right now, viewership's not going to go up because WWE viewership is up because it's Road to WrestleMania. So I think it's the wrong time to get hot for AEW.
Well, to your point, they moved All In to the middle of summer rather than the end of summer, sort of competing with SummerSlam in that regard. So they can move it to that little dead period in between to WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Although Money in the Bank's in there, and that's a relatively hot pay-per-view in itself. But yeah, I think. The original plan was the original plan. What everybody was thinking is this Death Riders thing and the title and the briefcase is going to build to All In, and Darby's going to come back from on high if he comes back, in one piece, and he's going to be the one to conquer the Death Riders and get put over and have a big title win. Finish his story, so to speak. But now people are saying, can the Death Riders angle go that long without choking the life out of fan interest?
There's rumors that they might be willing to move away from that Darby angle in general. So who knows?
I mean, Darby's not the kind of guy who wanted the title anyway in the first place. If Tony wants to put it on him, then Darby will say, okay, I'll take that ball and I'll run with it. But if they say, you know what, Darby, we're going to go in a different direction, he'll say, fine, I get to do my own stuff regardless anyway.
I think he could get it on at a later point, but
sure.
Yeah.
I will say, and this might be an interesting, a take. I don't know what people agree. I think it's the Money in the Bank is kind of in a little bit of a struggle city in the last couple of years. You got Austin Theory cashing it in for the United States Championship.
Oh, that was a Vince.
You got McIntyre cashing it in after an hour and a half, and Pepsi Phil has to steal the moment and make it all about it.
That was just because where they're at in WWE, they weren't taking it off of Gunther and they weren't taking it off of Cody.
And some might say that Cody's reign has been a little stale.
Well, all right. On that note,
let's get him back in here. We do have some WWE housekeeping to take care of before we get into the Royal Rumble preview. First, I believe this was announced today. Am I crazy?
I think last week.
Clash in Paris, yes.
Last week, but the venue was announced today. Did you guys see that information?
No.
It is going to be 3 times the size of the venue that they did Backlash at last year. So we are going to go from a French crowd of about 13,000.
Phenomenal AJ Styles. I don't know the words.
Yes. To 35 to 40,000, they said. So it could be absolutely unseen. Looking very much forward to that. WWE foreign shows have been awesome. Now, someone said that this was also the biggest failure in WWE history. I read, and I did steal this from Reddit. I gotta say, how is this event not named No Merci?
Oh, that's great. That was a big drop into the ball there. I'm sorry. Listen, Clash at the Castle was alliterative enough to make it work. Just slapping Clash on Paris. I don't know.
Well, what about
who the fuck wrote this bullshit?
Exactly.
I would rather see Punching in Paris than Clash in Paris. But no Merci was perfect. I shed a tear.
Power bombs in Paris.
Power bombs. See, that would be sick. Yeah. Power bombs in Paris. And then obviously the big news. WWE. Yes, I like that. The big news from today: Triple H headlining the 2025 Hall of Fame. This was inevitable. You want to talk about Thanos or whatever? I mean, what? Triple H has been in WWE now for 30 years, literally from Paul Levesque to now, Triple H the game to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I'm sorry, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Yep. So to COO Paul Levesque. Does anybody remember when he had to cry and fire Vince McMahon 10 years ago?
Oh yeah, that was during the Summer of Punk.
Yes. Go rewatch that. It's very funny, especially now.
I love you, Pop.
Yeah. It's one of the more.
I have seen that.
It's legitimately comical, especially when you factor in today's. Is there anything really to talk about here? I mean, obviously this was inevitable. This is going to happen. Pretty cool. I guess it was done at in an internal team meeting, but it was also done by Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Stephanie.
Well, was it formally announced, or is it just the rumor mill going on right now?
No, it was actually officially announced after the rumor went around. I think by some, I forget the source. If someone wants to quote me on it.
Well, did WWE put it on their Twitter page? But because Sean Ross Sapp confirmed what PW Insider reported initially, but I don't know if there's been any official announcement. I think they would save that for a Netflix or SmackDown.
Yeah.
I think.
when you type WWE into X, WWE Speed comes up first before WWE.
Hey,
Not only
trivia time.
not only
Who
did
is
they
the-
just invite Speed to the Royal Rumble, the WWE Speed show is probably the most successful live entertainment show
All right,
on
I got
X.
some
It's pulling
quick
better
train wreck trivia.
numbers than AEW. So,
I got some train wreck trivia.
I don't know about that.
Train wreck trivia. What do you got?
oh,
Who are the current WWE Speed champions?
shoot,
Andrade.
Dragon Lee. I'm on the Twitter. So,
Dragon Lee's the men's. Who's the women's?
Cheating.
I don't have the women's. In front of me.
Naomi.
No.
Michin.
No.
Oh, what's her name?
Piper Niven.
No, we would see her walking around with it.
Is it someone on Raw or SmackDown?
Flash
She is
Legends?
on SmackDown.
Naomi.
No.
Oh, who is that?
Candice LeRae.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
I was gonna say who's a mid Carter on SmackDown.
I was gonna say
roster.
she's got a speed champion right now, with fairness all factored in. But yeah, so Triple H Hall of Fame. Any like surprise? I'm assuming this is locked in. I mean, I've seen it from every angle. This has been
It's definitely locked.
Sometimes WWE likes to control the messaging, but sometimes stuff gets out, like when Daniel Bryan was returning, shit like that.
Yeah. Well, he's clearly going to be the headliner of this class. There's like one or two. There's always, the top 10 not in the Hall of Fame, and a couple of notable names that are left are Batista and The Rock. And The Rock being, a shareholder means that now he has the inside track to be the head of a class at some point. Obviously, it's not going to be this year. They're not going to co-headline it with Triple H and The Rock. They're going to give them both their spotlight in the Hall of Fame.
Oh my! But can you imagine? Class, right? But can you imagine?
Can you imagine if Dwayne makes the call and says no?
Shawn Michaels does the full intro, and Triple H is getting up there, and then the place goes dark, and it's full final boss entrance. We're gonna move that back a year, H.
He comes out and he goes, "Sorry, Hunter, no confidence."
Dude, if they don't air the no confidence during his Hall of Fame,
you got it, right? So you got it,
bro. That is meme-wise, that might be the top Triple H meme, honestly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because Vince always said that, I don't want to go in the Hall of Fame as long as I'm alive. Well, it's a moot point because I don't think they're going to put him all in the Hall of Fame, regardless of whether he's alive or dead at this point.
Yeah.
Does Triple H mention the name Vince McMahon during his Hall of Fame speech?
100% yes.
Who's that?
Wow.
I think it's just enough off-brand that he might be able to get away with
and
that.
WWE Hall of Fame is just such an internalized thing to where like you're protected. I would just be honest. He's gonna do something like he looks around at all the opportunities that him, like people close to him, have had, and they wouldn't have it without a Vince McMahon. Like something like it's gonna be something like that. Like right,
they usually do it live on Peacock, right? Yeah. It's not going to be a tail end to Netflix, Raw, or SmackDown on USA. So it's not like they have to answer to any sponsors.
Well, it will be on Netflix internationally.
All right, so we got that to look forward to. Obviously, more to come. We got the Clash in Pele. Last for housekeeping, NXT does a number. Got to give credit where it's due. I know that the Raw audience is fleeing every direction they can. They've lost
my Lord.
It's okay. It's no big deal. I'm sure you'll stabilize. Markets fluctuate just like AEW.
Okay, wait.
What goes up must come down, and what goes down eventually goes up.
Yeah.
What you were talking about earlier, I said save it for the show, and this is what I wanted to say.
Got it.
Buying into a stock at $2, it shoots up to $360, then goes down to like $200. You're still up 100 times.
What,
it didn't, as opposed to AEW, which is like a biomedical stock that like got past the first phase of testing, then just like failed its second phase. It's basically
that sounds like Steiner math to me.
Don't
listen, we respect Steiner math on this show, but one thing we got to be honest with is that losing 50% of your audience in 2 weeks is not good. There's no. Now I know people tuned in because it was on Netflix. I know like they were able to click it. It was a little bit different, but you got to be thinking that there was a little optimism that hey, maybe we got like a Netflix boost and like we're gonna be able to reach a lot more viewers now. And they're quickly being returned to earth. in that regard.
Well, Return to Earth, I still think they're up in general, right?
They're up.
They're up for sure, but it's not 3 to 4x, which I think they could have been looking at. Right now they're basically like up like 40% or like from the initial.
It's not bad.
You're right. Stock wise, I'll give you credit. Ali's got a point, and
Hopefully
you
they
got to
keep that. Hopefully they keep it around
Yeah.
though.
With that
WWE
said,
stock is high.
it is time to talk some Rumble, and that means it's time for some train wreck trivia brought to you by Batavia Down.
Batavia down is more, lots more.
All righty. We are going most all time, and we are going for the top 5 Royal Rumble eliminations.
Kane.
Prophet, I better not see that web page changing in front of you.
Kane.
Okay, so we got Kane.
38, right? He has 38.
Hold on. Oh, my thing just refreshed. Stand by. Oh, no.
Brock and Roman are on that list.
Yeah, I was going to say Roman.
Brock is definitely.
Who?
I hate
Brock.
I hate my internet right now.
Oh, sorry. Man who's unidentified.
UFC champion.
Okay.
UFC.
Most all-time men's WWE elimination. Roman is not on this list.
Wait,
Probably because he's been in the
rarely ever in.
championship
Yeah.
match. He's rarely in it. He's not in the top 5 all-time WWE Royal Rumble eliminations. Mayor Kane is number 1 with 46. Undertaker, his brother, is number 2 with 40.
And Brock's on that list.
Right?
Brock is not on the list.
What?
Are you sure? I
Brock
wanna
is sitting.
recount.
This was done.
Triple H.
This was done yesterday by Sports Illustrated, so I am
Triple
pretty
H.
sure they know that.
Okay.
Triple H is not on there.
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels is 3 with 39. So you have the top 3.
John Cena.
Austin.
John Cena not in there. Steve Austin number 4, 37.
Okay.
So there's one.
Now you're looking for number 5 currently on the roster.
Randy Orton.
Nope.
Oh, damn. Thought I had that one.
I'm figuring it has to be a big guy.
Yeah.
Either Brock big or like Big Show big. But Big Show.
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman.
No way.
Strowman, 34 eliminations.
What?
He had 13 at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and that counts.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm
inflated.
sorry. That does count.
Yeah.
So we'll see there. Now, congratulations on getting that for Win More, Lots More, Batavia Downs. Most eliminations all time women's Royal Rumble.
Rhea.
There have been some fewer events.
That's a
We got
tie.
Rhea Ripley.
Charlotte.
Up with 20. Charlotte at 15.
Bailey.
5th place. Bailey in 3rd place with 17. So you got 3 of the top 5. Nia, number 2, tied with Ripley. So you got the top 4. And who's number 5?
Sasha.
Nope.
Charlotte.
This
Charlotte's
woman
better.
this woman also has the record for the most eliminations in a single match.
It wasn't
Becky,
Becky, right? Becky was.
Becky.
Not Becky.
Was it
Not
Bayley?
Becky.
No,
Not Bailey. Bailey is
Oh, yeah,
17.
we said
She's
Bayley.
3rd, but
Yeah.
she's
It wouldn't
not
be
this-
Ronda, would it? It wouldn't be Ronda,
It
would
would
it?
not be Ronda.
Oh, is it Shayna?
It's Shayna.
Shayna.
Shayna
Wow.
Baszler. 15.
Oh.
So she has 15, but she had 8 in one match. So shout out everyone. Now here's a question. If anybody can get this, I will be beyond impressed because it's just a ridiculous factoid. What woman had the most eliminations in the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble in 2018?
Trish?
That's what I was
Nope.
gonna say.
No. Okay.
You're barking up the right tree, though.
Lita.
Nope.
Michelle McCool.
Michelle
Wow.
McCool.
Oh,
with 5.
slick.
Slick sounds it. But we are into the Royal Rumble talk here on Wrestle with Emotion. Shout out for everybody tuning in. Make sure you're following Wrestle W Emotion on all socials, Twitter and Instagram for following all those updates. Royal Rumble, boys. It's here. It's the most magical time of the year. I would say that for certain. It's the time when anything can happen. WWE definitely is in an era where anything can happen, and we are on our road to WrestleMania getting with this Royal Rumble. With that said, has anybody checked the odds?
No.
I'm not.
Interesting.
We got top 6 favorites here. Top 7 favorites. You got Jey Uso at 18-1. Seth Rollins at 14-1. Gunther at 14-1. That's probably like a glitch.
Wait a minute.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Well,
No,
you
the
know,
odds for WWE are always fucked like
there's
that.
always a little skew. There's always a little skew there. So now we get to the top 4 where it gets a little more zoned in. At 7-1, the tribal chief Roman Reigns. 7-1, crazy. Like
That's-
crazy
that's
odds for Roman.
Yeah, that's
At
value.
He hasn't been in a Rumble since what, 2019?
At 6
No,
to 1.
he's
He's got a good chance.
The final boss, The
Oh.
Rock.
Oh yeah, you have
At
to.
4-1, the cult of personality,
CM Punk.
CM Punk. And at 3.5 to 1,
You can't
you can't
see him.
but
Oh,
you might
what?
see him win in Indianapolis. The favorite, John Cena.
Wow.
So I mean, I guess then my prediction is not that crazy. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The last 2 in that ring are gonna be Cena and Punk.
I would think so.
Yeah, I thought that too from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, I think it writes itself.
If they're going to include The Rock in this, if The Rock decides he wants to be in this, would they dare do a number 31 scenario, or would he just be number
I
30?
think that would be the only way to do it right because we all are expecting it now. So if that countdown started going, could you imagine the crowd just rumbling?
But
Oh my
okay,
God.
would they
Yeah,
do it?
wait,
Would they do it
Maniac-
immediately,
Maniac,
like 90
would they-
seconds after number 30, or would they wait until there's like 2 guys left in the ring and
Wait.
then do a countdown and Rock comes out?
Wait till the guy's literally about to get thrown out, and then Rock's like, "Start my countdown."
I mean, Maniac, I think you floated this idea if it was literally them 2 in the ring, and then if the 31 spot was Rock, and like he came because it was Cena and Punk, and then imagine they both teamed to like take out the final boss. I mean, you
Yeah.
could do so much there.
I forget how I pitched it, but it was like, it was
You
very
did-
like,
it
there
wasn't
was
exactly
something-
that.
There was some situation where it made a lot more sense. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, full final boss entrance for sure. Like, I don't know how you,
You
do
know what?
it. I mean,
You know what we got to
it would
look,
be
look
great.
out for?
Great.
You know what we
This
got to
is-
look out for? If when they put the graphics on and they're talking about the men's Royal Rumble, if they're not saying 30-man men's Royal Rumble, if they're leaving that little 30-man part out, that's a red flag.
Well,
there was a Reddit
that'd be too obvious. I feel like though.
It's subtle. It's subtle enough, but it
But
would
but
work.
if you're gonna final boss it, you can't like be subtle and give hints. Like you just have to have him come and say like, "Fuck it, I'm like changing the rules right now," and
Yeah.
like no one knows.
Well, but then I saw a Reddit theory, and this makes more sense to me, and I think it'd be awesome. But imagine he just comes in like a regular opponent right after Roman Reigns and just throws Roman out, and then eliminates himself.
Oh, that adds some story down the line too. Yeah. But there is the rumors for Roman and Fatu involved going to Mania, so who knows? I mean, they could do so much with this Rumble. I know we were saying we were probably like this last year for last Rumble that we were so excited, mostly that we'd been in a long time. But this one's this one's definitely up there with all the things that are on the table. No
This
pun
is the most
intended.
unpredictable Rumble I've seen in the 2020s.
Yeah. Do we have any thoughts about what order the matches are going to go in? Because
So right now, only 4 matches,
traditionally,
right?
it's either the men's Rumble or the WWE title match.
I think they're gonna do women's Rumble to kick off the event. That
Sure,
would be
that's
my
what they
take
usually do,
where
no?
we're at. They've done it. They've done some variations, but
What
yeah,
else do we
it's
got?
not
The
really
2
the
Rumbles, Cody,
The
KO.
2 out of 3 falls tag match with
2 out of 3 falls
DIY
tag
and
match.
what
Yeah.
else?
First
The Motor City
time.
Machine Guns.
The tag titles, any tag titles, have been on a PLE since WrestleMania.
Oh my
Wow.
God, that's just not. That's just not good.
yeah,
I mean,
pretty
the
bad.
titles have
Pretty
been
bad.
essentially the TV titles. since then.
Show booking sucks. I heard. With that said, yeah, you look at this list. I mean, I'm not saying Rey Mysterio is gonna go to like Mania or like Chad Gable, but like, I mean, you look at those top 5 can definitely go. McIntyre can go. Sami Zayn wouldn't be like the craziest thing ever. Logan Paul down to the final 2 would have the crowd going nuclear. Like there is some serious potential in the first half of these entries.
Yeah, there's potential. Yeah, there's like potentially 7 or 8 future Hall of Famers on that.
Who are we expecting are the surprises,
I
both
was
men's
gonna
and
say-
women's? Because there's a lot of surprises on the horizon for
Punk
the women's.
said that he knows a surprise, but he would get in trouble.
I was going to touch on that.
Did you
He
really
says-
say that?
He says, "I know one woman specifically, not general, but one woman's Royal Rumble entrant that he'd like to see, but he can't say because he might get in trouble. Wink, wink.
Don't tease me like this.
I don't.
Yeah,
This is literally the first legitimate tease we've had of you know who.
Yeah,
because all the other times he's been asked about it, he's been very dismissive of it. Oh, she's too busy. She's got projects and this and that.
I mean, he did the same thing last year, though.
No, he didn't say anything close to that last year.
He
WWE.
teased.
What was the tease last year?
Of Chelsea Green talking about who would win and what, like, you know, when they pull up like this versus this, and then the winner stays. AJ Lee was on there, and AJ Lee was like beating a lot of
that too.
people. I don't know. They're talking about her a lot, and if I see that, let's not I'm gonna turn up. I'm gonna turn up.
And that is a banger. That is for sure.
Well, as far as women's Royal Rumble surprises go, obviously we all know Charlotte and Becky. This is the time for them to basically return. Becky has been on graphics for Netflix on Raw, promotions going back to even before the debut episode. So she's got to be on there. And of course, Charlotte is going to come back, and whether she's got to be a high odds on favorite to win the Rumble. Whether I would book her to win the Rumble, and obviously her target would be Tiffany, that's a discussion for another time. But one woman who has recently been rumored to have been signed, I think is a certainty for this Rumble, and I think a top 5 favorite to win. Yes.
She already confirmed she's not going to be there.
She did? Where?
Yeah.
When?
Oh, yeah, she did. On Twitter, she tweeted that it's her mom's birthday, and she's going to be in or something.
That was not passed around. I did not see that.
Posted flight tickets. She would not be.
Wait a minute.
No.
We know this is not just a swerve.
I was just going to say, to Partham's defense,
it could be.
You never know. But
and Partham's
I will say, Partham, even if it is a swerve, who gives a fuck? Like,
who are we going to see
swerving us that hard just for a Rumble entrance? Like, woo, sick.
Now,
year? All right, like, when is she going to get eliminated? Like,
which NXT women do we see? Do we see like the top Julia and Stephanie? Do we see them in the Rumble?
We can see Cora.
I think Cora's in there.
Roxanne.
For sure. So on this,
if we get AJ Lee, we're gonna have her, Cora, and Roxanne, all of them in the ring.
You would think you got to do like Julia and Stephanie Vacour as well, right?
AJ Lee ain't showing up.
I don't want to get my hopes up because I think you're.
I wouldn't predict it, but if they're heavily teasing it right now, that I wouldn't put it past anybody.
Do you want to talk about value? The WWE Speed Champion is 100-1 right there.
We're gonna talk about value. I was thinking about talking about your girl, Jade Cargill.
I was literally just about to bring her up.
I'm sure if you asked somebody a year and a half ago, would her being 40-1 in her second Royal Rumble be like a great trajectory? I don't think so.
Yeah, but
I thought Slick and Jade essentially broke up. Don't you have a new girl, Slick? Mariah?
Slow burning.
Yeah. We're on to new things.
Well, he's got his WWE girl and he's got his AEW girl. Luckily, he's
got 2 side girls in each.
Yeah, he's got a girl in each promotion.
They got conflicting schedules. Lucky thing for them is I have a lot of time. Chelsea Green at 100-1 as well.
Well, Chelsea's currently the U.S. champion, so. I don't know.
Hey, speaking of Chelsea Green, there's another individual that's going to be in Indianapolis this weekend.
So I saw that.
Cardona.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Are they finally going to pull the trigger with him at least for a cameo?
I want Zack Ryder.
He was just on TNA.
He's not going to come up as Zack Ryder.
I want radio.
Tell me everything.
So JBL was just on a recent Raw. And JBL was also just on a recent episode of TNA where he clotheslined Matt Cardona. So although Matt Cardona was also recently on an AEW episode, this deal was signed recently, as we know. I wouldn't be surprised if Cardona shows up in the Rumble after that announcement and that on TNA.
To be fair, JBL's been clotheslining people on like every promotion.
Yeah, he's been making the rounds.
JBL, what is JBL's end game?
The JBL Revenge Tour.
He just appears on random promotions, clotheslining.
GCW.
JBL is basically I'll show up if I'm going over. Like that. That's just all he's doing.
He's like the Hulkster.
Oh wait, actually, speaking of which, Saturday night's main event, no Hulkster. Did you guys notice that he was advertised?
Hallelujah!
I think that was rumored before.
That was probably the easiest call WWE's ever made.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I saw this funny tweet. It was like, You should have seen it, brother. They were so mad that WWE waited to bring me out. They were booing. they booed me out of the building.
They didn't bring me out sooner.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to touch on, because I was asking about the match order. I think that whatever the match order is, whatever it's going on last, whether it's the title match or the men's rumble, it's going to be determined by the Sammy and KO dynamic, because KO was very heavily hinting, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Who's going to at least attempt to scratch who's back first and then maybe fail at it, and then the other guy gets his revenge in the second match to come after that. Yeah,
it's a good thing. Another
I
thing
have no idea who's going to be the dick in that scenario.
Whoever's first. Whatever match is first. So if it's the Royal Rumble first, Kevin's going to try to help Sammy and get him eliminated.
I could see the title match going on third, and then Sammy comes out and he's conflicted, and he ultimately doesn't help KO out, and KO is like distracted by this, and Cody takes advantage and wins. And then in the Rumble, when Sammy comes out, KO comes out from the crowd, and instead of helping Sammy, he screws Sammy over, and we get that dynamic going forward. I don't know if it goes to WrestleMania. Maybe it goes to Elimination Chamber since it's in Canada, but I think KO and Sammy's going to be a feud going forward.
I think you just nailed it on the head.
Can we talk about why is it starting at 6 o'clock?
Wait,
that's
what?
a weird. It's starting 6 o'clock.
Sure, that's not the pre-show again.
No, that's the regular show starting at 6.
Didn't we do this before?
That was not me. That was Parthy doing that thingy thing. I was right that time.
Someone was like, "Oh, it starts at 5," and then there was a 2-hour pre-show.
I don't remember, honestly.
No, because the pre-show starts at 4. I know that for sure.
The Royal Rumble stream
that's crazy.
Live in the U.S. exclusively on Peacock beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Interesting.
Wow. That's
I thought 7 was an early
to be honest,
time.
is this not what we've wanted all the fucking way along? Like WWE,
Sure.
we not ending at
the good thing about international pay-per-views is they come in at 1 or 2 p.m. when we can get them done and get them out of the way for the day.
And this one takes forever.
Is at 6. Kickoff is at 6, followed by the main show at 7. But
I
don't
know.
You got work.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Prop.
No,
where was the
4 o'clock start?
Where was the crystal ball on that?
Fucking Mark!
I can't believe Rob got. We give the Prophet so much respect on this program. All right, well, I'm sorry, all of our fans. I know we got
6 o'clock.
I know we got thousands of people watching.
With the main card starting at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Guys, I just want to apologize to all of you for Prophet letting you down. I'm so sorry.
He's muted. He's
muted. He might be right,
he muted himself. I didn't.
No, I got it.
Right. It's because right now
doing it.
it's saying that it starts at 6. The main card starts at 6. CBS Sports is reporting that.
All right. Even the idea that the Prophet could mislead our yeah, even the idea, I agree. Let's give the apologies to our audience, because even the idea that they were misled for a second is completely unacceptable. The only place they can go to, I know,
give it to me. Give me what I want.
Yeah, what do we have no confidence? Do we have no confidence? That's my thing, no confidence.
Who the hell told you tonight was open mic night, bitch?
Which one of us is JR with the last one who's all right, sorry, Prophet. No confidence.
Puts his hat down.
Oh wow.
Wait a minute.
No, you guys are idiots. You were supposed to leave after you said no confidence to him, you dummies.
Is that how that worked?
You left right as you said JR.
Okay, this is nonsense.
I don't need any of you. I can do this show on my own.
Thank you for tuning along. Obviously, we are looking forward to getting into Rumble season and Mania season, because this is the show. We got Ali, we got Parthy, we got the Prophet, we got Slick Saturday, we got much more Ernie Green, Talbot, and more McAdoo. Where we're looking forward to the Rumble, and it's the show where it is not wrestling with your budget. It is not wrestling with your conscience. It is wrestling with emotion.
It was a stupid idea from bad creative, and all that's gone.
I love you, Maniac.